Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you. Carly's told me a lot about you.
Well, vice versa. It's a beautiful building, you guys. Like the Starship Enterprise in here.
Thank you very much. It leaks. Before Carly came to help run the collection, it was just a complete mess. But now the restorations are back on track. We're going to Pebble Beach this year. We're going to get a trophy for that stand right there. You know why? Because this woman right here is my secret weapon.
Mr. Gould, please, you exaggerate.
That's part of the scene from the movie Transformers: Dark of the Moon. It actually opened earlier this week.
Our movie guy Aaron Lafferty is here with a review of that movie, plus a preview of 2 others that are playing this holiday weekend. And Aaron,
yes.
You've actually seen it.
Yes, on Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Okay.
It's been a while. It's been a long week. Well, if you like the first 2, if you're used to the action of the Transformers world, you'll probably like this. In fact, you've probably already seen this movie by now because it came out Wednesday night, so Wednesday morning. Transformers: Dark of the Moon, better than the second one. Not as good as the first one. This does have a long runtime too, which wasn't really necessary. This movie could have been cut down quite a bit. A lot of action, obviously. Transformers, Michael Bay. You got Shia LaBeouf, and all the Transformers are back. There's kind of this new element where they kind of rewrite history a little bit here. That the space race of the 1960s may have been because of the Transformers had landed on the moon, and that's why we shot up to the moon so fast and raced with Russia. So they kind of rewrite history a little bit. You got a whole new element, a whole new threat for the Transformers. It's kind of like, how many different ways are we going to have threats that the Transformers have to defend Earth from? It's big budget. You got all the special effects that look really good, by the way. Industrial Light and Magic did a really good job on all the effects. The acting isn't great. The story isn't great. Again, the story could have been cut down quite a bit. The disaster in Chicago is kind of the last hour of the movie. That could have been cut down too. Detroit stood in for Chicago in a lot of the other scenes. So, you know, if you want to see this movie, go see it. You know, it's certainly, the IMAX and the 3D will certainly add a lot to it because it is a big budget action adventure thrill ride.
Is it for sure going to be the #1 movie this weekend?
It's already broken records for the one-day ticket sales for North America with 33 million on Wednesday. So,
is there a 3D version of this out?
There's 2D, 3D, IMAX. Okay. So you've got all that.
There's a lot of money. Yeah.
We're talking like 100 million over the 5-day 4th of July weekend.
Now, is it kid friendly?
It's PG-13, so not for the little ones, but from 12 and up, probably good.
The reason I ask because I remember watching my little brother playing with Transformers, and now my son plays with Transformers.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. So Aiden may be a little too young.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. The Transformers look really good in the movie. The effects are really good, but. The people, it seems like they just had too many characters. They've got all these actors. This cast list is just enormous. And so you've got all these people, and none of the characters really get a lot of screen time to develop, other than the Shia LaBeouf character. And even his character ends up just running around and screaming a lot. So it's, it is what it is. If you like the other 2, you'll probably like this one. If you didn't like the second one, you'll like this one a little better. But again, the runtime, 2.5 hours, is just a little too long.
It's pretty long.
Yeah. It almost felt like a director's cut.
Yeah, you'll almost need then some kind of an intermission to go back and refill your popcorn and go to the potty.
Yeah, it definitely could. Definitely could have used some editing for sure. Yeah. So it's getting between a 5 and a 7 rating. I give it a 6.5, kind of in between there. So.
Okay, it's not the only thing out though this weekend.
It's not. We have some limited releases. But first, I talked to Josh Duhamel last October about shooting in Detroit and Chicago, and I want to take you back to October when they were kind of wrapping up production.
Can you tell us a little bit about Transformers 3? Some people were maybe disappointed with the second one. Is the third one looking good?
The third one's looking very good. I love the script. I love some of the stuff we've been able to shoot so far. It's definitely going to be the biggest in terms of scope. And now it's just a matter of the story and how it all comes together. I think that Michael Bay's really making a focused effort on this being the best of the 3, and I think that it may be. We were in Detroit for a couple weeks, which was great. I hadn't been able to spend any time there, and we got to shoot some really cool stuff in Detroit. I had a great experience. I'd love to shoot more stuff there. It's beautiful, and you can do so many different things in Detroit and around Detroit. I've got a soft spot for that city.
It is nice when you get that national attention too, you know.
Yes, yeah. So they spent 3 weeks in Detroit and almost 2 months in Chicago. So you've got a lot of Midwestern flavor in this movie. You might not be able to tell all the scenes of where exactly it is, but you can probably figure it out. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now there's one coming out that I really, really, really want to see this weekend. Which one do you think that is?
Larry Crown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Julie Roberts,
very
Tom Hanks
romantic.
back together. We haven't seen him since Charlie Wilson's War. This is actually the second movie that they've been in together. Charlie Wilson's War didn't do quite as well, and Larry Crown isn't getting the best reviews either. But it's a small budget romantic comedy. Tom Hanks actually wrote and directed this movie. So this is the second movie that he's done that for. You have a pretty good cast here, pretty good reviews. You know, it's a middle-aged guy who loses his job and decides to reinvent himself, goes back to college. One of the teachers is Julia Roberts, and they kind of develop a friendship and maybe something more, not to ruin the movie for you. But so it's a romantic comedy. It's kind of a fun one.
I haven't been to the movie as much, but it's been a while since Julia Roberts has been in a movie.
She's done a couple, minor parts. She did Eat, Pray, Love last year. So
right, that was probably a big one. Okay, the next one that's out, I have to say that in my house I've got a 13-year-old girl, so we spend a lot of time thinking about Justin Bieber and watching The Wizards of Waverly Place. So we've got the Bieb's girlfriend in the next movie.
Selena Gomez in Monte Carlo. This also not getting the best reviews, but I think this is kind of for the crowd that it's intended for. It'll do quite well. Selena Gomez, Leighton Meester, Katie Cassidy, and Andie MacDowell plays the mother. You basically got 3 women vacationing in Paris. Selena Gomez actually plays 2 characters. She's mistaken for a British heiress, so now they get the fancy treatment because they think she's the famous person.
Okay, this is not an original plot for a movie aimed at teenage girls.
Yes, but it'll do well with the intended audience. It won't do great at the box office, but for those that want to see Selena Gomez, and it'll do okay.
And then eventually we'll see it every other week on one of the cable channels.
On DVD, so.
That's how that one's going to go. Yeah. Okay, also out on DVD this week, there are some good movies.
Yeah, we have Paul Giamatti, who's done quite well. He does a lot of supporting roles. Barney's version, he got a Golden Globe nomination for this movie. The national ratings were between like 6 and 7.5, so it did pretty well. It was also Oscar nominated for its music. So it tells the story of the guy. It's his life. It's basically 3 different wives. His version from his point of view of what happened, and Dustin Hoffman's also in this movie. So it's a pretty good romantic comedy and got pretty good reviews. The rest, not so good. You got Season of the Witch, not so good. Beastly, not so good. Nicolas Cage was in Season of the Witch. Sucker Punch did okay. That was a Zack Snyder one.
Okay.
All not really good reviews on those, but if not, go back to last week's blog and the movies that came out last week on DVD might be an option for you.
Might be an option. Holiday weekend, you know, it's going to be almost 90 degrees. I'm guessing a lot of people may even not be at the movies.
In a long weekend.
Or stay inside.
Fit it in.
Absolutely. So we can follow you, Twitter, Facebook, Laugh at the Movies at woodtv.com.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'll put that interview on my YouTube page too. So.
Fantastic. All right.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
You bet.
We'll be right back.